Morning, Mark. Hope
Good
you're well.
morning, my friend. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Good.
Yeah, obviously, one game from Wembley, you're the holders. From City's side, I suppose it's the last thing that they can win. So, do you go into this game feeling the pressure, or do you feel like, everything's on them?
Yeah, I think it's a really good question. I don't feel either way of those, Dan. In all honesty, That's not the mindset going into the game. I think the mindset going into this game is, and this last block of games is, I'm going to ask for the theme of don't ask for permission. And what I mean that in terms of our performance, don't ask for permission to win this game from Manchester City. Go and give everything to try and win it. You know how much I respect the opponent. You know how much I respect Nick, and they'd absolutely give everything. But I think both teams would anyway, because it's a derby. It's a unique kind of semi-final because of that. But for us, I just think it's about controlling performance. I see the players for the first time back in today. And I'm going to just enjoy spending time with them this morning, I think, and just being back in our environment. So rather than worry about any kind of connotation of the game, we've just got to perform. I think if we perform, we know as a team we can beat anybody, regardless of whether it being a great team like Manchester City or not. We have to be prepared to give everything, and we want to get back to Wembley, Dan. That's our sole aim in this game.
Just in terms of Man City, it's become a bit of a customary question now, but obviously you've come up against Nick's sides before.
Yeah.
I don't think he's been at City, but have you kind of seen in those games that he's had recently that he's kind of, there's kind of Nick crushing tendencies in the team? Is he starting to turn it into the way that he wants it to be?
Yeah, I think so. There are definitely signs of Nick's influence on the team. There's still, I've said this along. Each manager of a Manchester City team adapts it slightly and evolves it slightly. It's still a playing style. There's still a structure and a way that they play. Nick, I think, since he's been away in America, of course, will have had different experiences of that as well. So different ways of adapting games. He's always a really good tactician when we played against him when I was at Birmingham. So for us, I think it's about understanding his traits, but also knowing that Manchester City will do what Manchester City do regardless. And so we've got to be prepared for all of those eventualities. And no, reality is, Dan, it's going to come down to the quality moments in each box, whether that's attacking or defending. And we trust ourselves in both of those. And yeah, look, it's going to be a tough game, but one, we've got to give everything, and hopefully we can make it back to the final of Wembley for our fans as well.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Mark. Best of luck.
Thank you, my friend. Have a good day.
Thanks, Dan. Asif, please.
Hey, Mark.
Good to see you, Asif. Good morning.
Do you have any team news? We've seen pictures of Celine Bizet training. Is she fit to play this weekend after putting out the Norway games? And you said that Evie Rabjohn is back in team training. With such a tough set of matches coming up, are we likely to see her before the end of the season?
Yeah, so Asif, everyone comes back in today. I've not had any reports that anybody's injured. So hopefully everybody's fit and healthy. Celine is fine. She's trained this week with us as well. So she's fine going into it. She needed that rest period, as if she'd come out of 2 games with the same kind of. It was more of like a niggling deep bruise, but she's come out of that and she's obviously okay. Evie Rabjohn is so welcome back on the grass. She joined into almost like a game format for really the first time on Wednesday, so it's probably going to be too soon for her to feature in any of these games, just because she's got a lot of building back into the team, and it's a crucial part of the season that you got to be really physically and mentally prepared for. So probably unlikely, but she'll have a great opportunity now to build with us throughout the rest of the season, and then obviously looking at what the best options is for her to get game time going into the new season.
It's also the first chance we've had to speak to you since you signed a new contract, and congratulations.
Thank you,
It's a big shoot from the club. If you see it out, I think you'll be the third longest serving manager in WSL history. As part of your discussions, I'm sure targets for the club must have been discussed. Was winning the league by 2027 one of those? And do you feel you're closer to that target than you were 1 or perhaps 2 years ago when you finished second?
Yeah, look, of course, Asif. Look, thank you very much. It's an honour and a privilege to obviously sign again for the club. Yeah, look, we talk about those types of things, and again, rather than create a soundbite here, I think we were quite honest before that we have an ambition as a club to try and win the WSL by 2028. So we know how difficult that is, but you have to set yourself aspirational targets. We are on the way. We have investment to make that work. We have recruitment, of course, the right recruitment. We have experience that we've got to gain in these next seasons. But I'm a big believer in that. Although that potentially creates pressure, it also gives you a challenge. Like we're here at Manchester United to try and win. So hopefully that aligns. And if I do see the contract out, which is obviously the plan, then hopefully I can bring that type of kind of success and continued success for our team and our fans.
Cheers, mate. Best luck.
Thank you, Asif. Enjoy the sunshine.
Thanks, Asif. Catherine, please.
Hi, Mark. How are you?
Good morning, Catherine. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Good.
I was wondering, we've seen lots of minutes for Clinton and Tooney together for midfield in England, for England. How nice was that to see kind of a partnership made in Manchester United playing for England, and what did you make of their performances over the 2 legs?
Yeah, I did. I obviously love it when they kind of have that relationship and you feel proud, and I'm sure Manchester United fans feel proud when you see your players playing alongside each other in the national team, which creates that kind of chemistry continued when they're not with us on international duty. So yeah, it's obviously an honour, and I'm sure they feel the same, the players. I felt that Tooney, when she came into the second game, had a real massive impact, and I felt that they were very good at what they do within the first game as well. So and obviously Grace before she come off. It's a difficult game because I think they got hit by 3 counter attacks, and like set pieces. So it was that part of the game as to why they lost it. But actually, I thought they gave a really good account of themselves, as they always do. And when I come in this morning, I'm really looking forward to seeing them, because when they all come back in on that day one, the energy's fantastic. And I want to try and harness that going into this game. But yeah, look, I'm always proud when they represent their countries, and that doesn't just mean the English girls. I'm proud that Maya and Millie and so on are going, and I saw them both unfortunately on the bench, but actually still being part of that, what Serena's trying to build going into a really important summer. So but then I look at Saf, who's gone away and had a fantastic game. I think it's her 3rd cap, but got player of the match, and Aoife Mangan as well doing the same. So there are lots of really good stories going on. Lisa going back into the first time in a while because of her injury, going back into the Norway squad. So I'm really happy with all of them, and kind of we assess that as they come back in, but celebrate the little things, because it doesn't always go well, of course.
Thank you. Just wanted to highlight Elizabeth Turland as well, getting 2 starts in a row for Norway. It was great to see. Yeah,
it was great to see, and she's been incredible this season. I hope that continues, of course, in these next 5/6 games. So she's been a real she's hit the ground running here, and I think she's done a fantastic job. And of course, and the one I didn't mention just was obviously Fallon. Fallon's been incredible for us this season, but has gone on and again performed to the ability levels that we know she has on the international stage. So again, another one to be proud. There's just so many going around my head of their different games, different time zones. But yeah, no, there's lots to celebrate, and all I ever wish is that they come back in really good spirits and that they come back fit. And hopefully, I've got both of those coming into this last block of games.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you very much. Have a good day, Catherine.
Thanks, Catherine. Tom, please.
Good morning,
Good
Mark.
morning,
Congratulations on the new deal.
Thank you, mate.
Just wanted to ask you a bit about that, and I'm wondering what you think the most important things that you and your staff have done this season have been to sort of lead up to that.
Yeah. So look, thank you first, Tom. It's it is a feeling of just immense pride. People get, I'm the longest serving manager. Yeah, it's probably because people have lost their jobs. So that's not a good thing. Like sometimes that's not a good thing. It's good to be a serving manager for that long. But I think consistency, Tom. I think we've been able to get consistency again this year. Hunger. I think we've been quite open that last year, maybe within the success of the previous season where we finished second and obviously FA Cup final, and then we lost maybe just the edge of hunger that we needed. We've adapted the playing squad. We've added more physicality in. and I believe that's added to the quality that we can output. There's still so much more to come, Tom, though. That's what I think it is. But I think the consistent messages, I think the resilience we've shown as a team, even in the early parts of the season, Tom, where we were trying to learn much more about each other quickly. I think those moments have held us in good position for now. And really, look, we know we've got a tough end of the season, right? But I want us to really attack that. And I think that's where I'll see a lot more as well, Tom. I think to see how much we've grown over these past. But I think just immense pride, immense individual pride, but also collective pride that we can try and take us towards our goal, which is obviously try and win the league and qualify for Champions League and try and have a run in that and experience that, and obviously try and win trophies too. That's what I've signed the contract to try and do and help our club get there.
Thanks, Mark. Can I also just ask about the conclusion to the season now? I know you've got at least 5 games now, you're hoping for 6 more games. Some very tough opponents in there, and I'm just wondering now how season defining this is going to be for, you know that difference between hypothetically Wembley and Champions League football qualification, or no Wembley and no Champions League football qualification. Like, just how pivotal a moment is it for the team and everyone, this next month?
I think it's really clear, Tom, that it's a pivotal part of the season, and what I love about it is nobody in here will hide away from that fact. I think I've said this before in moments where we have big runs of games, is that it's a way you see it. And for me, I'll reiterate what I said at the start, is I want my team not to ask for permission to win these games. I want them to go and win it. I want them to go and express themselves. I want them to go and play with, and when I talk about expression, that can be with the ball but without the ball as well. Like, go and be aggressive. Go and challenge the teams rather than be passive in any of the games, and that's going to be, I think we move as we move closer. The Chelsea game moves, so it gets closer to the Man City game, so we get this congestion of fixtures. But go and enjoy it, and when your moment comes, and it might be for 10 minutes, it might be for all of the 90s, then go and express who you are. Because reality is, Tom, if we want to get closer to that goal, then we all have to do that. So don't fear it, enjoy it, embrace it, and that's what we're going to do going into these games.
Thanks, Mark. Good luck Sunday.
Thank you, Tom. Have a good day.
Thanks, Tom. Sandra, please.
Hi, Mark. Sorry, excuse me.
Bless you. Bless you.
Congrats on the new contract.
Thank you, Sandra.
I was just going to ask, talk about the goals and targets there for United, but in terms of that 2028 in particular, but for yourself and for the hierarchy behind you, how important are these FA Cup runs and potential FA Cup back-to-back wins, or, in terms of that wider target of winning a title and then obviously getting into the Champions League and trying to consistently be in a Champions League for United? Yeah,
I think if I rewind almost 12 months ago, Sandra, it's 11 months ago to the FA Cup final, and I look at it and I go, the things you learn from those experiences hold you in great stead to go into these challenges. And that's what I think you learn, Sandra. So I think trying to get back to a final, trying to win it, to do back-to-back would be an incredible feat. It really would. But it's more the experience. If you want to win these bigger things, then we have to have tasted the highs and the lows. That's how the previous team that we had here got to where it was, because it had tasted lows the season before, and all of a sudden we needed to find that little detail to get there. And look, we don't presume, and I don't presume that we're in any FA Cup finals yet. We've got a massive game against Manchester City to play first and navigate. But if we are to do and to win an extremely ambitious task of the league by 2028, then we have to be pushing to finals, and we have to be trying to win trophies, because it's the only experience that you can get that will hold you in the moments where you need it, where you have to trust yourself when it's a really tough moment in a game. You only get that from experience. So that's what we've got to create, trying to get back to there to actually try and do it if we're going to reach, as I say, this lofty ambition.
And you mentioned consistency a little bit earlier there, and I imagine you mean consistency in terms of high performance and the results that you want to come off the back of that.
Yeah.
And you talk about Fallon. One player who's been quite consistent and is in the running for that Golden Glove league-wise is Fallon. And we saw her when she got that first appearance for the USA, clean sheet against a team like Brazil. Just how important is that form that she's maintaining for you? I mean, I spoke to her a couple of weeks ago. She talks about how she doesn't like to have a half-assed approach to anything. So how important is that just, shutouts and the form like that in terms of what your ambition is for United?
Do you know what I like? She's an incredibly intelligent woman, and I think that's really important because she is very aware of what is needed to do the role. She's very aware of the situation she was walking in when Mary was world's number one goalkeeper, and she still wanted that challenge, Sandra. And she's having to get used to what it's like to be Man United's number one. But if there's any audition, I don't know if there's been a greater audition for her to be Golden Glove this year than what she's produced. I'm so proud of her. I'm so pleased with her performances. And more importantly, I think, Sandra, and I want to... Fallon will be the first to say that the defending team ahead of her has helped that as well. I look in the games where she's kept clean sheets, and she comes up big in quite a few moments, but there are a lot of work the team does before her to make her have only a few moments in a game too. And I think that she will recognise that. And that's, again, another beauty of the fact that she's a team player first. Now, goalkeeping is a really strange one, is it? Because you're on an island and you are an individual within a team. But Fallon has all of the team values. That's why she's in my leadership group as well. She takes everything seriously, and I'm going to encourage her as she gets even better to just really enjoy the ride, because she's creating a fantastic legacy for herself.
That's great. Thanks, Mark. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, Sandra. I hope your voice gets better.
Well, thanks.
Thanks, Sandra. Ella, please.
Hi, Mark. How are
Good.
you?
I'm good, Ella. How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Good stuff. You need to get out in the sunshine, mate.
Yeah, it's lovely. I'm a bit burnt, I think. So Sunday's obviously the first derby since Gareth Taylor departed. Tactically, do you think they'll approach it differently to they have in previous derbies, and does that impact your own game plan?
There are some adaptations. I've already seen some adaptations in some of the games, some subtle adaptations, albeit, but still the Manchester City kind of ideas, still the way they want to play, still their team core values. But yeah, some adaptations that I know Nick likes in his teams. So we'll prepare for those as well as the others, and thoroughly look. The other thing that you have to do is, Ella, in the game there's going to be key decision makers. Now, if I look at the balance of like tactical solution within a game, it's actually just depends on how the players perform. You only adapt tactically for what the players do or don't give on the day. So, and that doesn't mean they can't give it; they just might not give it in that day. So, for us, I think we have to be aware and assess, but also again what Manchester City players can give to the game with what Nick can select. So. But I think more importantly, when I learn about these games, it's about making sure that our spirit is the best and brightest spirit in the game. Because if it is, as a team, you give yourselves a better opportunity to win the game. And that's what I'm going to ask my team to perform. For all the tactics, for all the things that happen in the game, we have to be the team that's the most hungry. And if we can do that, then we'll have, as I say, we'll give ourselves the best chance of winning the game.
You mentioned Saf Middleton Patel's player of the match the other day for Wales. What do you think of the next steps of her development? Obviously, she's a player that's not struggled for minutes with Fallon doing so well. Yeah, and of course you're going to, aren't you? I think it's fair to see. What I've seen in Saf this year, especially since Kayla came in, was I've seen a real maturity, a real growth in her, and that's a genuine reflection of mine. Up until that point, she probably felt I'm behind Fallon, I'm behind Mary when she was as well. And she was learning a lot and growing, but actually, there's a goalkeeper coming that's closer to her age, and that they've got up a really great friendship, but also a good rivalry. And I've seen it push both of them. I think what's next for Saf is game time, isn't it? So it's about looking at a platform or a plan, which we have, and we are consistently looking at constantly all the time. For all of our young players that may not be getting the minutes they want, that actually we have a plan. We have a loans. We're dealing with all the loans managers. We constantly update. That includes JC as well. That's out in Gotham. So
For us, it's about making sure she has a plan, and I think it's game time for her next. I think getting some game time, getting consistent minutes, and then seeing how she rises from there.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Ella. Have a great day.
And you, thank you.
Thanks, Ella. Megan, please.
Yeah. Hi, Mark. Nice to see you.
Good to see you too, my friend. I hope you're okay.
Oh, I'm all good.
Good.
Just two really quick ones, but obviously we talked about your contract, which again, congratulations.
Thank you, mate.
And we've talked about like how you're going to help the club.
Yes.
But for you personally, as a manager, like how do you think you can grow in that space in the next couple of years?
Yeah, I'm obviously going to have pressure, which I think I deal with relatively okay, considering there's going to be pressure of the success that we need to achieve. There's going to be the challenge of reinventing the team again to meet that challenge. Let me be clear. We know. I'm not sitting here and saying, "Oh, we're ready. We're going to go win the league next year. That is our aspiration. No, that's our aspiration. It doesn't have to wait to 2028. But we know that we're playing against Chelsea, Manchester City, Arsenal, historically. But then look at all the other teams that are doing fantastically well. So we know the challenge of it, especially if we were to get Europe and progress into those kind of games. How much challenge? So as a club, we're looking at those strategies, how we can invest in the squad, how we can grow the squad, how we can have a sustainable model still, because I think that's really important for the future of the women's game to make it sustainable. But yeah, I think what I will learn is, especially if we go into Europe, managing those minutes, adapting, evolving the team, and really, in all honesty, staying true to who I am and my morals and values in these next 2/3 seasons. I want to do that. I want to stay true to who I am, so that I always keep giving my players the consistent message they need.
And last one, but Emma Hayes talked about Fallon after the game, and she said, how great she played, but then one of the things she wanted her to work on was the short passes from the build-up play, and she said United didn't really play that way. Obviously, you'll have to play a certain way, in order to play your games and play your style. How can you help Fallon in that department as a club? Because it does feel like there's a bit of a tension there, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna talk about Emma's kind of way that she feels around it. I mean, I think Emma will know from being in club football, it's totally different international football, because you have 6 months to design what you want a camp to look like. On the day-to-day basis, you have to win games of football, and for us, I am extremely happy that our style mixes and matches what's needed for our club. And for our team that we have currently. What Fallon will always do, as we've spoken about how diligent she is, she's always going to try and improve the little margins, and it's something we've been working on consistently with her. And as she gets more game time and as she gets more playing time, more experience with the team, you'll see more and more of that. I have no doubt Fallon has the ability and capability to do that. But again, maybe it's, I don't know if it's lost in translation or the way it's been said, but for us, I'm really happy with the style that we play. And you have to play the style you want that meets your fan base, meets your outcomes. And I know that Fallon has such a high ceiling that she's going to be the best goalkeeper in the world. So Emma will have an absolute choice, and I hope that she chooses Fallon, because it's, I think she's absolutely incredible.